Welcome to Coach's Corner on Beaver County Radio. Tonight's show will also be live streamed on our Facebook page at WBVP-WMBA. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Junction Auto Service, McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Geneva College, Fish's New Brighton Foodland and Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot, the Community College of Beaver County, the J&J Spratt Funeral Home, and the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Now let's take it to our host for tonight's edition of Coach's Corner on Beaver County Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This is our Thanksgiving edition. It's been a tradition for years. It's always a great thing to have a Thanksgiving show because that means somebody in our area is playing at Three Rivers Stadium / Heinz Field / Acrisure Stadium. Along with our guest coach, Mark Lyons of Central Valley, I'm Bruce Frey. Welcome aboard. You're watching on Facebook Live, Beaver County Radio 99.3 and 99.7 and 95.3 FM, 95.7 FM on Beaver County Radio. And Coach Lyons, again, this is your first chance at the Coach's Corner since our brouhaha at Roberts Roadside Inn last December. Congrats on the 2021 state championship.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, it was good. And again, for the uninitiated, that was a Saturday game in AAA against Wyomissing, which is still in the AAA playoffs. But in the biennial PIAA reclassification, Central Valley has slipped up to 4A, where you're now competing. And just briefly, Coach, what's the scenery, what's the landscape like moving from AAA to 4A?
That's a great question. I mean, there were some familiar faces with us back in the Parkway when
Sure.
we first got into it. You know, the Montours, the West Alleghenies, the Char Valley. So
Blackhawk Cougars.
The Blackhawk Cougars. You know, we were not going in there, so to speak, blinded with some of those teams. We had a little bit of history with them. Actually, we had some great history with Montour and West A back in the day. So the transition's been relatively smooth. And then, of course, you throw in Aliquippa, obviously, and they've always been on our schedule, whether an exhibition or in our conference. And you know, that adds the excitement to any conference.
Yeah, no question. We'll talk about that in a little while, but the bottom line is your game with Aliquippa in the regular season, October 28th, was deservedly more hyped than any game in who knows since when. Maybe even since you guys were on TV against Hopewell back in when Jell was a senior.
That's pretty good, yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you say for hype, that's about as hyped up as you've been around?
I would agree. I mean, that game at the ESPN game had pretty good
the fact
hype.
that you were on national cable television, and that wound up living to the hype, too.
Yes.
I can still see Foster chasing down Shell on the far side.
I know.
It's beautiful.
Yep. And I can still see them kicking to Foster to get us in that position.
And it's the same thing. We'll be kicking around the Central Valley Aliquippa game, but I think that one lived up to the hype as well. The only, you know, there's facts and opinions, and the opinions are Central Valley and Aliquippa is going to be a barn burner, but the facts are, whether it was then or now, it's very rare, if it happens at all, to have two defending state champions in the same section, let alone Friday at Acrisure Stadium.
Absolutely. I'm not so sure the historians of high school football here in the WPIL can
dig it up. Yeah.
I'm not so sure that's ever been done when you have two state champions playing in the WPIL championship game.
No question.
So that you know, that in itself is pretty unique.
That's for sure. And so that again, that hypes itself. We certainly, and again, we'll talk about the quips a little bit later on. What we want to do is just your immediate path. Tell us a little about your playoff run, specifically with two teams in the same conference, Laurel Highlands and Thomas Jefferson.
Yes. You know, coming off that final regular season game with Aliquippa, we earned ourselves a bye, a very welcome bye, not so much from the mental or from the physical standpoint, but mentally. I think it just recharged everybody. We gave them almost 4 days off away from the game. Everybody got their batteries recharged.
Yeah.
We came in with a determined group prepping for Laurel Highlands and the Rodney Gallagher show. And
you've seen them come and go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We did our defensive staff and our players were really tuned in. We contained them. I think he broke one run, which, you know, we dug in and didn't let them score. From that point on, I just think then our offense kind of took over up front. And then
Yeah, Coach, it just seems like with Laurel Highlands, because I was involved in their coverage with Aliquippa a year ago in a game at Ambridge. It just seems for Laurel Highlands, their coaches have a dilemma. Like, if you put Gallagher at quarterback, then who's he going to throw to?
Right.
And if you put it at wideout, then who's going to throw to him?
That's
it's
correct.
just, they're not blessed. They may have a guy who's signed with West Virginia, but you have more people in different roles.
That's right. And, that's part of, developing and making sure you've got a balanced football team. So, playing at home, that was a great win for us coming off a bye. Then we go against a formidable opponent who we know a lot about, who we'd have some history with, a powerhouse, the Bill Charpak, Thomas Jefferson Jaguars. We had them at North Allegheny, and North Allegheny is becoming a pretty comfortable place for us.
Yes.
The last 3 games we've played there, including the Thomas Jefferson game, we've pitched 3 shutouts. The COVID year, we shut out Elizabeth Ford in WPL game that was held at North Allegheny, and the year prior to that, we shut out a very good Dairy team. So,
yes,
I guess that's our home away from home. But again, I thought our defensive football team, that side of the ball was really, really locked in. They got some players, obviously. We neutralized the running game. That's what you have to do against DJ.
Coach, I think with Thomas Jefferson, the first thing I think of from seeing them over the years is they're going to be as physically strong as anybody you go against.
Absolutely.
Like weight room strength.
Absolutely. And we told our guys, we challenged our guys, sometimes they want to be the bully, and you can't allow that to happen.
Right.
And we did not allow that to happen. We got them in situations they were out of their comfort level where they had to drop back and throw the ball on a consistent basis.
Yeah, that's
obviously
they're
we
used to being ahead of the chains.
Sure, they're ahead of the chains, and then you're trying to figure out, is this next play a pass or is it a play action? And now their playbook opens up. So we kind of shrunk their playbook, winning on 1st and 2nd down.
Well, Newman Stadium, I don't know. I know he watches from time to time. If Jordan Whitehead's watching, I think he was in 9th grade. He kind of messed up his shoulder. I think was it West Mifflin you were playing against? Right. So not to show that's probably your only negative in your resume at North Allegheny.
That's right.
He was a starting, I think he was the right outside line. Yeah, he was playing
We lost that game in overtime.
Right, yeah. And that's probably your only blemish. But poor Jordan, he was definitely in severe pain at that time.
Absolutely.
But we might as well cut away briefly to Jordan. Let us know about, and let the community know, this is a great plug. I think it was July 11th last year, a Monday. Tell us about the Jordan Whitehead, Robert Foster morning and afternoon at Central Valley High. What happened there? And
those guys every year, the COVID year we had to put it on hold, but those guys are so willingly and anxious to come back and put on a camp that's completely free to our youth. And we don't limit it to any particular person. And
right.
They give their time and energy through half the day. And afterwards, they don't run out. They'll sit there and sign every little guy's T-shirt, football, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and
we're so thankful.
Right,
for that.
We should also say it's not just your community. Jaleel Fields was there.
Right.
And Aliquippa.
Sure.
It's not like it's Central Valley or Take a Hike.
That's right.
I mean, it's
open
open.
It up. We
right.
do. We open it up.
That should be noted.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. And those guys, like I said, they relate to the kids so well. And I take so much enjoyment in seeing our past players, including Robert and Jordan, and their teammates who played on our teams years back. They come back willingly, and it's a great atmosphere. It's almost it's a great reunion just to catch up with guys that we haven't seen. And I guess when you start to get a little long in the tooth and the age is starting to catch you, you start to appreciate those moments. You don't look at those, but when you see past players come back and give of their time, it makes you feel very proud.
Well, no, I can imagine. In particularly, I don't know what the media made of it, but the bottom line is you versus Bill Charpak. I believe on one hand, you've got 9 WPIL titles and 5 state titles. And I think on your hand, you got 5 WPIL titles in 2 states. So That's rarefied atmosphere. That's why you guys are at the Mount Rushmore of coaches. Tell the listeners about Mr. Priatko's annual engagement in my neck of the woods at the Grandview, the outing that they have there.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it what Mike White came? What was it? 517 wins or something like that.
Crazy. It's a crazy number.
It was absurd.
Yeah, I got into the club this year.
Yeah. For three titles. Yeah,
I got the welcome in. I got the invite, and boy, I was so excited just to see some of the legends of the game, guys who I've watched, coached against, and what was neat about it, they all welcomed you. You know, they come up to you immediately. They make you feel like you've been there for several years. What a great event. Those guys do a great job.
Just for the record, because Mark and I, a guy named Bill Priatko, who's 92 years young, he is North Braddock Scott class of 1949. You got to love that.
God bless
He
us.
played at Pitt. He played a year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. His best friend to this day, I would think you would know that, is Dick LeBeau, who was his teammate as a youth. But he has this luncheon every summer at Grandview, which is a majestic restaurant that looks out over Kennywood Park, right? You can see them riding the rides, or you can look the other way and see Pittsburgh.
That's right.
It is. It's on a golf course. Well, that's why it's called Grandview. But he brings back anybody who's won 3 WPIL titles, and that's whether you're retired or active. So McCurry's there, Render's there, Mike Smianik's there, Joe Hamilton's there, Bob Palco's there, even though he's active. And this young, you were the baby of the group, though, no doubt about it. You were,
I think myself and Eric Kasparovich.
Oh that's true. Kasparovich, good.
That's right.
He is a tad younger than you. That's for sure. But it's a great event, and again, if you add up the career wins and state titles, you better go find a computer. You better try to. But I'm sure for people like you who like to talk football in the summer, it's a great event.
Great experience. One I'm never going to forget.
And I'm sure he'll be back the next time that he calls. No question about it. So on that note, we owe for our first commercial break. We'll throw it back to our producer Curtis Walsh. We'll be back in a second with our special guest, Central Valley football coach Mark Lyons.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. If you're watching or listening to this broadcast online, open up a new window and click GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com and start shopping right now. Fill your grocery order from New Brighton Foodland and follow Beaver County High School football all at the same time. What could be better? Fill your shopping cart up without ever leaving the sidelines. Visit GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com.
McGee Heating and Air Conditioning in Aliquippa has been in business for nearly 60 years. Now that's experience you can count on. When you call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning at 724-375-7112, they'll answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sue Curlin and her winning team service most brands, and McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated. As always, they wish their best to our local teams. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa.
You can run out and buy a new car if you can find one or afford one, or you can take good care of the one you have. Take it from Steve at Junction Auto Service. It's all about maintenance. A lot of things have changed in the past few years, but taking care of your car isn't one of them. Now more than ever before, it makes good sense to maintain the vehicle you have, and nobody does it better than Junction Auto. Mention you heard this ad and get 10% off any visit. Visit JunctionAutoservice.com or stop by their location at 425 Constitution Boulevard, New Brighton.
Get your furnace tuned up and fall into savings. Just call Keller Heating and Cooling now through the end of November and get $250 off a new system. A new Daikin system features up to a 12-year warranty. Keller Heating and Cooling is locally founded, Beaver County based, and family owned, serving Beaver County and surrounding areas. Keller firmly believes in supporting small businesses which help the community they call home. Whatever your HVAC needs, call Keller Heating and Cooling, 412-628-2207. 07.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner Thanksgiving edition. We're thankful for Pizza Joe's for bringing us pizza from 3rd Avenue in Beaver. Give them a call. We certainly appreciate what they've done for us throughout the years. And our players, our Central Valley Warriors, and our one Mohawk Warrior also, they're here to take care of business. They're polishing that off now as we speak, and we'll talk to those young men later. But for now, it's Coach Lyons. In Coach, again, we've talked about it before. You've made the switch from 3A to 4A. How about a little bit of your personnel? Let's just groupings of players. We like to get people involved. Let's say with your offense, the line, for example.
All right,
Often are anonymous people.
Let's start with our left tackle, Tyler Costanza. Our left guard, Tyler Ondrusik. Our center, Jackson Tanya. Our right guard, Caden Colville. And our right tackle, Nick McCrary.
And then how about a quick kudo, because I know as a coach, you appreciate what Tanya did. He's been all over the line. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely.
A coach would appreciate that.
Absolutely. He's been the Swiss Army knife of our offensive line. Came to us as a freshman, started off at offensive tackle, and then coming into last year, we're starting to look more and more for a mobile center. And he was our first. When we asked him, he looked, thought maybe you want me to go to center, and I said you'd be the perfect guy for that. And he never looked back. I'm not so sure you can find too many high schools that'll pull their center as consistent as we do, and he does it like better than Damani Dawson.
There you
do
go.
It from the Steelers.
He should be wearing 63,
That's
not 53. Right. Well, that's good. How about the tight end wide receiver group?
Let's go to our tight end, Matt Garavak, senior. Our wideouts, starting with Brady Hudson at one side. Of course, Javen Thompson, 4-year starter on the other side. Our slot, Denero Simpson. People know him better as Money. That's his nickname.
I like it.
And, of course, our running back, Brett Fitzsimmons. And then our field general, our quarterback, is Antoine Johnson.
Right. Antoine was here a week ago on our coach's quarter. He was brilliant. And again, most of the stuff he said came true, too. We asked him for predictions. He liked BF against Stowe Rocks. That came through. We did have him abstain on Central Valley. That's TJ.
Right. I'm sure he would have told you Central Valley.
That's for sure. But just real quickly, Coach, because you're considered an offensive mind. We heard him describe his evolution. Let's hear you describe his evolution.
Well,
from sharing the position, first of all, from not playing football in 9th grade.
How about that?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, he came, like I said, not playing football till about 9th grade. Last year as a junior, our plan was to get him some valuable snaps. Well, that plan came quicker than we'd like to. Very first game against Eloquip, Matt Merritt goes down with an ankle injury, and he's thrown right into the fire, and he handled it well. He loves to compete. He doesn't back down from competition. So that just allowed us to get both of them some touches last year, give him valuable experience. His maturation this year, coming into his senior year, has been leaps and bounds. Understanding now not only where everybody fits, but what his job is, how he needs to get the ball to the right guys.
He's avoiding the dreaded term game manager.
Yes, if that's the term you want to use.
We don't want to use it.
But he does a great job of setting our pass protection with the line. He's in tune. He's very in tune to what goes on in his surroundings, and you can tell when he plays. He knows when to pull it if he needs to run it, but. His strength in his arms, his best asset, and when he understands where to go with it now, that thing spits out of his hands right now. So
very good.
Yeah, we're very pleased with Antoine.
Before we cut to the defense, we want to cut back with something we ask you every single time is even though you did make the switch from 3A to 4A, you found yourself involved with the 35-point clock quite a bit of the time. How we ask you this every year. How do you handle that as a coach? You mentioned getting reps for Antoine and some others. How does it work for you?
Yeah, well, I could tell you this. Coming into this year, I thought if anything, I told our coaches we probably need to prepare our guys. Things may not be as easy. Well, they were still at somewhat. We've got out to some early leads, and you know how we operate. We want young guys getting as many reps as possible. In fact, our first 2 or 3 games, we script how many reps certain guys get. And when we have that opportunity, boy, it just allows our young guys to feel good about being part of the program and start to understand if that's where they're going to be, or do we need to make a move with them.
Well, specifically, one young man, we track his progress. He's obviously out in the open because he holds for extra points. So that means at Central Valley, he's going to hold 5 or 6 a game in most cases, is a guy number 14, Steve Rutherford. Does the fact that he's the holder, is it too much to say that he may be the heir apparent when Antoine moves on?
Yeah, I mean, if you come to practice, them two are probably inseparable. You know, they're talking constantly. Antoine's passing on his knowledge. Steve's asking questions. We gave Steve the car key to the JV game every Saturday morning.
There you go.
It was his show. We pretty much let him call what he thought to get us in it. So we kind of gave him everything, and he's got a bright future.
I'm sure Antoine is looking backwards. He sat in that chair last week and said he wouldn't be where it was without being mentored by Amir Dudley. So you can take that for what it's worth.
Absolutely. And that seems to be the process with our quarterback in our quarterback room. In fact, I just got a text today right after practice from Amir. You know, talking
really?
about
there you go.
Passing on some knowledge to Antoine. And,
yes.
You know, Coach, this is what we need to do. I'll be there.
Hey,
it's
the internet. He could be looking right now.
Yeah. So, you know, I like I said, our guys, it just puts a lot of pride into what we're doing. Man, I'm so proud of that. When our guys pass on knowledge to one another, they understand what they're part of. There's never any jealousy in our program. Guys are rooting for each other to succeed. They're rooting for the next guy.
Well, when you have that kind of tradition, you understand that your juniors and seniors now are playing for themselves and their teammates, but they're also playing for Foster and for Whitehead and for Amir Dudley and for anybody else that ever donned the Carolina blue.
Absolutely, and that's sometimes that's all the motivation you need to make sure you don't drop that ball.
Take them out of the locker room and go from there.
That's right.
Okay, Coach, before we go to break, how about a synopsis of your defense? Let's just work back. Start at the line and work our way back.
All right, we'll start up front. Our nose guard, Tyler Ondrusik, who's been a pleasant surprise as a sophomore. Our one defensive tackle is Tyler Costanza. Of course, our other defensive tackle / defensive end is Jackson Tanya, who's been a stellar guy there, 4 years there for us. And our defensive end, we call him our Jack linebacker / defense ends, Matt Garavac. Moving to the second level, our linebackers. We got 2 young guys here. We haven't told them much. 2 freshmen for need because of guys' injury. And let me just start by saying, you know, Keegan Adamson, the senior, you know, obviously he suffered an injury, and he's actually going to try to get back this week. I'm extremely happy. We thought maybe his season would be lost, but he fought back. And then Mason Dixon, who had a shoulder injury, so we kind of shut him down for the year. But hey, the 2 young guys, they're no longer freshmen, as a coach a long time ago said. So it's J.J. Work, number 27, and Ethan Scher. They're gonna get in there, and like I says, we don't tell them much. I don't think they realize the magnitude of this game. We just tell them it's another game.
There's not a number 9 decal on their helmet,
No.
you know, so the official doesn't see the number 9 and call a penalty. Yeah,
that's right. So, and then let's go back to the secondary, and there is where I think our strength is on the back end, also with leading with our safety, Javen Thompson, who's been a stalwart down there back here for us for 4 years. Our other safety is Denaro Simpson, and then our 2 cornerbacks, Rylan Jeter and John Peterson.
Well, that sounds good. And again, I would still, you know, defensively would want to single out Tanya. What he did, you know, he was our CCBC player of the game versus Wyomissing last year in the state championship. And you said it was fine with you when we told you.
Absolutely.
I mean, we know what Sean Fitzsimmons did, and we know how he blew up that last play, but it also helped that Tanya, you know, on that last play had a very good push from himself defensively.
Absolutely. I thought he had probably one of his better games in his career in that state game, and Trust me, he's had a lot of those, but he elevated it that afternoon.
Yeah, it really was a magnificent outing. So we're going to talk to some of the Warriors from both teams. When we come back, we're going to take a break. You're watching the Coach's Corner on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, 99.3 FM and 95.7 FM. Thanks for watching us, and we'll be back.
Are you in high school and thinking about your future, or know someone who is? Consider Geneva College. Geneva is a Christian college that prepares students for meaningful service and their life's work. Geneva has over 145 majors and programs, 18 varsity sports, 100 study abroad programs, and lots of club activities. And Beaver County scholarships help to make a Geneva education affordable. Learn more by visiting geneva.edu. That's geneva.edu.
Scoring big at dinner doesn't necessarily have to mean getting the score run up on your family food budget. Level the playing field by shopping at Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot. There's a reason why they say your dollar goes far at Save-A-Lot. Maybe it's time to switch teams, and while you plan for a big playoff run, head out on a grocery store run. Even when time is running out, being able to park close to the door and find what you need in an instant without wading through a maze of aisles makes Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot the right call.
Carver Construction in New Brighton is proud of all of our local football teams. They know what it takes to be a winner. It takes dedication, talent, and desire to do your best. All the things Carver Construction offers its customers. They've been doing it since 1982 for both residential and commercial renovations. Carver Construction, 1090 3rd Avenue in New Brighton. Building dreams one home at a time. Call 724-847-1572 or visit their website, carverconstructionpa.com.
No matter what the circumstances, no matter the reason, one of the few things that is left when a loved one passes on are the memories. Staging those memories in an honoring way is one of the reasons so many people have chosen J&J Spratt Funeral Home. A person's legacy depends on a lifetime of accomplishments and then how they are remembered. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has helped start the process of creating positive legacies for over 70 years. Visit jjsprattfh.com. Joseph M. Spratt, Supervisor and Funeral Director.
Welcome back to our third segment of the Coach's Corner, pre-Thanksgiving, pre-Acrisure Stadium show tonight. Glad to have you along. Our guest now, Justin Boston of Mohawk, also the Warriors. We have quite a few Warriors in here tonight, Central Valley Warriors and Mohawk. Justin was our CCBC Player of the Game, a Saturday afternoon game at Western. Tell us about that adventure.
Well, we just came out there ready to play. Western Beaver thought they already had the win in the books. And they came out flat and turned the ball over a ton.
Yeah, it does, not to justify or present an opinion, but the facts are that Western knew that they were visiting Beaver Falls the next week. And that perhaps that was the case. That's what happened. But certainly a good win from Mohawk. You guys certainly came up with the better performance that day. You played all season long in the MAC. What was it like? I mean, were you surprised for one to see Beaver Falls win the second section in Neshannock second?
Not really. Beaver Falls is always a good team. They're physical and quick. And then Neshannock, same thing. They're always a good team.
Yeah, in Neshannock, they basically gave top-seeded Steel Valley a rough time last week. They actually went ahead 17-13. I don't know if you noticed, but the problem was on the next kickoff, Steel Valley ran it back, and then things were over. But certainly it was good representation by the teams in the MAC in the playoffs. What if you had to look ahead, what would you anticipate in a game we'll broadcast Friday at 2 o'clock? Steel Valley, which you haven't seen, but you know they're comparable to Neshannock, versus Beaver Falls. How do you assess that?
I think Steel Valley is going to need to get a lot of turnovers if they want to beat Beaver Falls. Just they need to play physical and stop the pass. Yeah,
the fact of the matter is Steel Valley typically hikes the ball to Cruz Brookins, number 7, in the Wildcat, and he just takes off. He very rarely runs. I think, Justin, you would agree the key is, will Beaver Falls have enough speed to stop him on the edges?
I think they do.
I think they do too.
Uh-huh.
I agree. And again, you've gone. What are your positions on offense and defense?
I play running back and I play safety.
Okay, so and then again, your team made the playoffs as well. You played McGuffey, but I guess that wound up tough for you personally. Tell us about that game.
Yeah, well, our middle linebacker got hurt the game before, so I got moved to linebacker that game. And there were 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I dislocated my shoulder on the goal line.
Yeah, making a tackle. Yeah, so it's a tough, but I'm sure you'll be resilient. You say you have a 3-week timetable, and you're also part of the Mohawk basketball team.
Yeah, I have 3 more weeks until I can return to live play.
So good luck with that. And then I get now in the new realignment. Who's in your section in basketball then?
We have Neshannock, Riverside, Elwood, Beaver Falls.
That's what I was driving at. Yeah. So you'll be, the middle school is only 3.5 blocks away. You'll be back in this vicinity,
Yep.
Much more sooner than later. But we wish you the best. Have you started to contemplate colleges or anything of that nature yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, give it time. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But we're glad you could come. Who'd you bring with you then?
I brought my father.
Okay, that's good. It's glad he made the trip. We've had Lawrence County people come before. We had Braylon Thomas a couple weeks ago. He played. They had probably our best playoff game of the year. I don't know if you got to follow that. Their 18-16 win over Rochester was a back and forth game the whole time. But he's an amazing dude. On second down, he rolls out and Rachi blitzes and they pound him before he can throw it. But the next play on third down, he rolls out, breaks a tackle, and goes 54 yards. So he can do almost anything on any play. But for your standpoint, we're glad you came by here. Thanks to your dad for bringing you. Hope you got enough Pizza Joe's Pizza. And again, thanks for your time, Justin.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, Justin Boston of Mohawk, and we wish him the best in his future endeavors and certainly to get his shoulder better. We'll take a tiny break here and get the Central Valley Warriors ready to perform as we continue on the Thanksgiving edition of the Coach's Corner here on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live, 95.7 and 99.3 FM.
Carver Construction in New Brighton is proud of all of our local football teams. They know what it takes to be a winner. It takes dedication, talent, and desire to do your best. All the things Carver Construction offers its customers. They've been doing it since 1982 for both residential and commercial renovations. Carver Construction, 1090 3rd Avenue in New Brighton. Building dreams one home at a time. Call 724-847-1572 or visit their website, carverconstructionpa.com.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. If you're watching or listening to this broadcast online, open up a new window and click GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com and start shopping right now. Fill your grocery order from New Brighton Foodland and follow Beaver County High School football all at the same time. What could be better? Fill your shopping cart up without ever leaving the sidelines. Visit GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com.
You can run out and buy a new car if you can find one or afford one, or you can take good care of the one you have. Take it from Steve at Junction Auto Service. It's all about maintenance. A lot of things have changed in the past few years, but taking care of your car isn't one of them. Now more than ever before, it makes good sense to maintain the vehicle you have, and nobody does it better than Junction Auto. Mention you heard this ad and get 10% off any visit. Visit junctionautoservice.com or stop by their location at 425 Constitution Boulevard, New Brighton.
Are you in high school and thinking about your future, or know someone who is? Consider Geneva College. Geneva is a Christian college that prepares students for meaningful service and their life's work. Geneva has over 145 majors and programs, 18 varsity sports, 100 study abroad programs, and lots of club activities. And Beaver County scholarships help to make a Geneva education affordable. Learn more by visiting geneva.edu. That's geneva.edu.
All right, welcome back to our Thanksgiving edition of the Coach's Corner. We just had a Mohawk Warrior Justin Boston, our CCBC Player of the Game against Western Beaver. Now we have 4 Central Valley Warriors, and they're all seniors, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so that's good. But it's been pointed out, Jackson Tanya starts every play. He might as well start this show. Welcome aboard. First of all, we haven't seen you publicly since the state championship game, but you are a CCBC Player of the Game. We thought you played valiantly on both sides of the football. Tell us about that experience in Hershey last December.
It was, being there again, we knew we had to uphold our winning streak and take another state title. So me and Sean, we were talking before, we said we need to give it all our game. So this is...
No question. And for the uninitiated, you're a senior now, which means you were a freshman in 19 in defeat, but then a victorious in 20 and victorious in 21. So you know what it is to play at Hershey Park. Oh, that doesn't do you any good this year because you're playing at Cumberland Valley. But other than that, you know what it is to make the trip. Have you been able as a senior to share that experience with your team members and tell them what a great deal it is?
Yeah, a little bit. Caden Coolville, we're good friends. He's my right guard. And having him there last year with me, it was kind of a new experience to have someone like as close as him on the line with me. From
your own standpoint personally, and again, you blew up Wyomissing's offensive line quite a few times. You and Sean were very destructive, and even their coach said afterwards, we just couldn't block them. It was that simple. But from your standpoint, if you were in a situation where for some reason you had to choose between offense and defense, what do you think you would do?
I would say defense. I love defense, making plays, tackling. It's my side of the ball, I feel like.
Okay, no, that sounds good. But good luck this week, and we'll certainly be thinking of you, that's for sure. That's for the uninitiated. He wears jersey number 53. You can check him out. He is anonymous in the offensive line, but gets his name called a lot defensively. That's how it goes, and that's the sport of football. How about money? Mr. Simpson, go ahead. Tell us, what's it been like for you on this trip with Central Valley? First of all, we asked Coach Lyons, what was your take when you found out? I would think it would have been in about February when you found out you were going from 3A to 4A. What went through your mind?
Honestly, I just knew that we'd have to step up and be playing bigger ball, harder ball. We just had to play Central Valley football. Right,
and I'm sure you've been around enough to realize that they, as Coach Lyons mentioned, familiar teams like Black Hawk and Montour and Ambridge, people like that. So your situation is you're content with this level of play. You think you guys can handle. I'm sure you've proven that.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like every team's different, and if we just study and do what we have to do.
That's for sure. And then this is your second year as a starter?
Yeah.
Yeah. What tell us your experiences of what it was like to go to Hershey in 2021.
2021, I was just so worried about not messing up, honestly, not getting in trouble. But it was a good experience to have fun and play with the guys.
Oh, no question about it. And again, there was a tense game too. I mean, it was the issue was in doubt. And what tell us your thoughts. You were on the field presumably on that final drive by Wyomissing when these guys blew that play up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was just hoping no one scored, honestly.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And they also had some difficult wideouts for you to deal with also. Wyomissing is known to be a running team, but they certainly showed they could throw. Were you when you stepped onto the field for that game, were you nervous about your coverage?
No, not honestly. I just knew if I played the right technique, everything would be fine.
Okay, that sounds good. And it turns out everything was fine. So good luck and best wishes down the road. We'll go from number 1 to number 10. There's a young man who's been out there for quite a bit of the time. Also, the family name doesn't need reintroduced. It's Fitzsimmons, only this time it's Brett. Brett, welcome back. You've been an outstanding running back and a defensive player. You were a little bit nicked up. Tell us about how that is and what your current status is.
Yeah, so playing in the Quip game, I had both my ankles rolled up on. But with the training staff we have, I knew exactly what I had to do. I knew I had to ice and just stay off them and just let them heal up. And right now I feel great. I mean, I played in the last 2 games, and you feel the ankles are a little bit sore after, but it's nothing I can't play through.
Right. In Friday, you do get Aliquippa again in a much ballyhooed game. What's it like for you to try to run the football against the line of McBride, Eberhardt, and Crowder? Those are some big dudes, but not only are they big, they're mobile.
Yeah, they are big and they can move, but I really have a lot of faith in my offensive line, and I know they're going to pave the way for me, and I'm just going to, whatever holes they give me, those are the holes I'm going to take.
You're in a situation, it's actually ironic, is that the WPL makes a mandate that all playoffs games have to be played on an artificial surface, yet on Friday you're going to play on a grass field, which could potentially be wet after 4 games, 3 other games down there. Do you prefer running on grass or on artificial surface?
I definitely like the turf, since a lot of the teams we play, basically everybody, we play on turf most of the time, but I do like playing on the Heinz grass, so I mean, I think we'll be good.
Acrisure Stadium. You'd be amazed. The signage is up. They apparently, you got to look at the bright side. If they paid them that much money, then theoretically they can spend for free agents too. But real quickly, what do you think of Kenny Pickett? Since your brother's down there all the time. I was down there Saturday and seeing Big 55. He wears this blue headband the whole time. I know exactly where he is down there. Yeah. I'm sure he wants to get out there. I'm sure his time will come. But what's your thought of Kenny Pickett? Is he a franchise guy or not?
I think he is, and I think it was the right move putting him in, even though it wasn't really a good situation for him, but I think it was right to get him some time.
Okay, well, good. You'll certainly get your time on Friday. We look forward to it, but thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now we'll go to number 7, who knows all about Heinz Field / Acrisure Stadium. Javen, again, we haven't had you publicly since then. Great job in Hershey, but really a great job at what was then Heinz Field, so that's correct. 4 picks in the first half alone. Did you? I mean, did Coach Lyons prep you with film study, or how did you find yourself in the right place all those times?
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of film. Knew what they were going to do offensively, knew what routes they were going to run, but it was just the defensive line getting pressure, getting in the quarterback's face.
Yeah, and you've been around also. Does it ever get old going to Acrisure Stadium and for that point Hershey itself? Does it ever get old?
It never gets old.
I can't imagine. No,
when you're out there, you just try to take in everything.
Yeah, that's for sure. And from your standpoint, what's it like for you to face Aliquippa again? You know, these guys are your respected rivals. What are some things that you, Javen Thompson, have to do to help your team on Friday?
Yeah, it's awesome to get another chance to play them. You know, they got the better of us in the first game, so it's nice to be able to get another shot at them. Me personally, I think I just got to take care of my responsibilities on defense, stay over the top.
Well, real quickly, not directly related to you, but you're around. You talk to enough people. What is your take on Beaver Falls versus Steel Valley?
I think it's going to be a good game. They got athletes, both teams, so I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, that Steel Valley just hikes into that number 7 in the Wildcat, and he just whatever happens. But certainly, we wish you the best. It's always good to be down there. For Coach Lyons, he seems to be going there all the time. I'm sure you seniors are going to dig in because it's your last shot at that field. Jackson, can you speak for the group on that?
Yeah, just going back one more time, 4th straight time. I mean, I know it's our 3rd time playing there, but the 4th straight WPL title, we could have a chance to get it. It's big for us, and we want to make our mark in the Central Valley history.
No question about it, because Coach Lyons and the others will be back from year to year. But for you guys, this is it. But thanks to all of you guys. We're running out of time. We really appreciate you talking here, and it's been good. We've enjoyed your company, and we wish you the best on Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks. We'll take a break, and then we'll have one final chat with Coach Mark Lyons of the Central Valley Warriors. His team plays at 8. Well, they listed at 8 o'clock. You know as well as me, that guy stands there in the field like this for timeout, maybe 8:30, but whatever. Just be there. It's that simple. Be there. That's the whole point. Be there and watch Central Valley versus Aliquippa in the vicinity of 8 o'clock Friday. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
Get your furnace tuned up and fall into savings. Just call Keller Heating and Cooling now through the end of November and get $250 off a new system. A new Daikin system features up to a 12-year warranty. Keller Heating and Cooling is locally founded, Beaver County based, and family owned, serving Beaver County and surrounding areas. Keller firmly believes in supporting small businesses which help the community they call home. Whatever your HVAC needs, call Keller Heating and Cooling, 412-628-2207.
Scoring big at dinner doesn't necessarily have to mean getting the score run up on your family food budget. Level the playing field by shopping at Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot. There's a reason why they say your dollar goes far at Save-A-Lot. Maybe it's time to switch teams, and while you plan for a big playoff run, head out on a grocery store run. Even when time is running out, being able to park close to the door and find what you need in an instant without wading through a maze of aisles makes Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot the right call.
No matter what the circumstances, no matter the reason, one of the few things that is left when a loved one passes on are the memories. Staging those memories in an honoring way is one of the reasons so many people have chosen J&J Spratt Funeral Home. A person's legacy depends on a lifetime of accomplishments and then how they are remembered. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has helped start the process of creating positive legacies for over 70 years. Visit jjsprattfh.com. Joseph M. Spratt, Supervisor and Funeral Director.
Welcome back, our final segment of the Coach's Corner Thanksgiving edition. And we're thankful to Pizza Joe's for delivering pizza to us and making us feel thankful to have them as a sponsor of our show. We welcome you to find Pizza Joe's on 3rd Street in Beaver. In our final segment with Coach Mark Lyons. And again, Mark, to me it's ironic. It wouldn't seem like a Thursday night without, I can think, am I lying? How about going back to the 90s when it was before games at Three Rivers Stadium you were at, and I'm sure your line's the same now as it was then. We're just happy to be playing Thanksgiving, but it was your relative, Dan Matzuk. We had both of you down there one time before a Rachi Manaka game at Three Rivers.
Yeah, that seems like a long time ago, but
guess why? It is.
It is. You're right. Getting down there and playing a game at 10:30. We didn't care if they wanted us to play at 6 in the morning.
I agree. Yeah, that's for sure. But that turf is cold on that side, on the one end zone, because you're in the shadows.
That's
you know,
right.
from the Three Rivers Stadium. People don't remember those shadows down there. You would see that curved ice, going
Absolutely.
around.
Hey, listen, you want to talk about doing this for a while. I've been part of the Three Rivers Stadium history games.
Right.
Heinz Field, and now I get to break in Acroshore Stadium. So.
No question about it. But Mark, I'll give you a clue of what to look for. It's beautiful. And I was there both last Saturday for Pitt and last Sunday for the Steelers. And what you'll see is, and I don't know if you could see this on TV or not, but what I saw in person is the area between the hash marks, they rolled that. That's brand new sod. That's artificial turf. But the punchline is this. Outside of the hash marks, they threw in tons of grass seed. So guess what happens? The pigeons think that there is an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's beautiful because it stops right at the hash mark. You'll see them on either sides of the It's a remarkable sight.
There's been a lot said about the pigeons.
It's an amazing sight when you're down there, and but that's one thing you have to look forward to. But from your standpoint, is it really much different? Because you're game planning, you're worried about the defense, you're worried about special teams. Is it much more significant to walk out of that tunnel than any other tunnel, than say North Allegheny or wherever?
There's a lot of debate about that. People say, oh, it's an empty stadium. It's you don't feel the crowd. But you know what? That's easy for us adults to say that. This experience that these high school kids are going to get when they walk off that bus, check in their bags through the security, walk down that tunnel like some of the greatest NFL players have played the game done. and have that connection. That's something they're going to always talk about. And it's about the kids.
Right, that's what we actually should have started asking them because they've been there enough time. We'll save that. Yeah, we'll get them sometime.
And so I still think there's a place for that. No matter what people say that have their doubts and their negative comments about it, there is still a special place for the players.
There is a legitimate concern, though. I don't know about my phone suggested a chance of rain Friday. You're in the fourth game on grass. You still let's put it this way. Most teams, if they have grass and they know they're going to play on turf, they practice on turf. Did you ever go practice on grass in the last week? Is it worth your while to do that?
No, we tried that.
The mechanics of it,
Yeah, it really at the end of the day it doesn't matter. Our guys are, when that ball's kicked off at 8 o'clock or 8:30, who knows what time. You know what? All they're going to be worried about is just making plays.
Right, and I agree, and you'll be doing the same thing. You'll be game planning and getting things ready. And the other thing we didn't talk when we went over your club is how about the kicking game? The one thing about Central Valley, and when we talked about this with Nick Nardone last week, people like Nick, they can't draft a soccer player to go place kick. At Aliquippa and at Beaver Falls and at Roche and at some of these other places, but you can. We omitted, my apologies, your kicking game.
Yeah, Serafina DeSantis has been a great weapon for us. We've had the luxury back when we started to make a connection with our soccer program, and it has allowed us to get guys through our program, and it's now to the point where we have middle school soccer players playing middle school football for us.
There you go.
So it's always that deep.
They'll get them used to it.
Yes,
that's good.
So it's pretty cool.
Good. Real quickly, because I think we're in our final minute, says Curtis, is do you even have the time? You got your hands full with the quips. Do you even have time to look at the idea of Meadville and Allentown Central Catholic, who you would play that winner if you were to win? Do you even look at it?
No, we
don't. You
don't
have.
We don't address it.
I figured I'd ask.
We just check scores. I still like to see what the Wyomissings are doing out there, and just
they're undefeated.
They're undefeated. I check a lot of scores just because I know a lot of the coaches out east.
For the record, Coach Lyons has been a Big 33 coach several times. Yeah,
right. So I've made some
these guys aren't names on a piece of paper.
That's right.
They're human beings.
Right.
So, but I think we got a break here. It's been my pleasure, Mark. I'm thankful to have you on Thanksgiving. Maybe the next time too. You've done it over 3 decades. So congratulations,
Thank you.
and maybe you can come up for number one for the other thumb, so to speak.
That would be nice. This never gets old, I can tell you that, Bruce.
That's for sure. But thanks for joining us, Mark. We appreciate it. You were watching the Thanksgiving edition of the Coach's Corner on Facebook Live, 95.7, 99.3, and Beaver County Radio. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.